So MusicMetric is a way to track user behavior, so knowing where your fans and potential customers are online, knowing where you're getting the best reviews from fans and professional reviewers, so you know where you're going to get the best response online. And it's about just making the most of your marketing and your PR, knowing how you're going to generate more revenue and just tracking your activity. So really being able to see what's going on online. At the moment, the music industry has found it quite difficult to really understand what's going on. There's enormous pressure in the industry to follow your customers and embrace digital media. And so this is a brilliant way of doing that.
And is there a platform for the service? Is it kind of like a personalised PR service, or do you have software?
It's a desktop tool. So we've built a suite of tools which sit on your desktop. It's an Adobe Air application, and what we can do through that is feed any information from the 450,000 artists that we're kind of tracking into that application. And so depending on what level you need, we've built the tool to come in 3 different flavors. So there's a flavor that's really suited for small bands and managers. There's a professional level tool where you can track about 25 artists, and there's an enterprise tool where you can track over 100 artists. And not only would that give you the opportunity to log in every day and just see specifically what's happening, but also from that we also have an API service, so you can draw that data in automatically and you can have it visualized in the way that your business might do normally. And we're also, from all the data we're collecting, we can produce charts. So Music Week, for example, take our chart at the moment, and we're looking for other people that might be interested in kind of taking our charts. So because we're collecting such a wealth of data, and it's very granular, it's real time, and it's super accurate because we're in music, which is a niche, we're able to be really accurate. That data becomes very valuable to people. So we're just really happy to be able to kind of bring some of that insight into the music industry, which kind of has struggled with it, I think, before. So yeah.
Sure. So I'm a record label, and I'm choosing between a specialised PR company to keep track of this for me, or looking at MusicMetric. Why am I going to choose MusicMetric?
Well, I don't think necessarily it'd be a black and white decision to go with one or the other, because I think what we are is a brilliant complementary service to someone like a PR agency. In fact, PR agencies are one of the categories of people that we're looking to partner with and take on as customers as well. Because a PR agency is going to be looking at where you're getting the best coverage, and they're going to be tracking the blogs already that are going to be sympathetic to you. And in a way, we do that. We're a complementary tool to enable them to do that. So the thing is, they'll be tracking certain magazines and looking at the genre that's kind of really appropriate for your band. And what we'll do is we'll track everything that's being said about your band. But the thing is also, we'll track everything that's being said about competitor bands or bands that you aspire to be like, bands that you think are really successful, and we'll show you where they're getting good mentions as well. So the thing is, you can say to yourself, well, X band over here is getting fantastic reports, they're getting great reviews, my band's pretty similar to that, we're from the same background, we're producing a similar music, our fans are very similar, they're getting brilliant kind of reports over here, so I'm going to go and target those blogs and those magazines and things like that. And the PR agency can use that to their advantage as well. And so really, I think with the concept of this being a replacement, I don't think that's really the case, but it's a brilliant complementary tool. Yeah. Indeed.
And presumably this is all online based, or do you have the possibility of tracking kind of print media?
We're not planning on looking at print media because I suppose the way the technology works. So we're out there reading thousands of pages, and by reading those pages and looking at the social network links between all the pages, we can look at influence. We can look at who's linking to who and what the influence of that page is. And really, I think that would be very difficult in print. And the thing is, because there's this big upsurge in online activity around the music industry, and it's been going on for years now. I think it's more important to kind of track print like that. There's a lot of monitoring agencies that kind of take page clippings and things like that, and I don't think we're gonna go into that space. But I think because there's such a glut of blogs and websites and things like that coming up, I think we're in a really big growing space. And the thing is, I was talking to somebody recently who was talking about how blogs are the new kind of college radio stations. So the thing is looking after those guys, making sure they've got advance warning of the new track coming out, making sure you're looking after them and things like that. This is a great way to kind of discover those blogs. Yeah.
What's the business model behind this service?
It's a subscription service. So as I said, at the 3 levels of application we've got, there's different kind of price, different revenues behind those. But also, as I said, we have a standalone API. So if you just want to get the raw data, and bear in mind there's a lot of raw data because we're tracking in 3 areas, remember. So we're tracking in social networks. So we're looking at MySpace, YouTube, Twitter. We're looking at fans added and plays, all those kind of things over time. And again, like I said, it's really granular. So we're tracking hourly data. We're also tracking peer-to-peer file sharing. So we track globally, hourly to a postcode level. And then the mentions, as I said. So we're looking at kind of what people are saying, where you're getting good reviews, where the best coverage is coming from. And so I suppose the API would be a massive kind of push of that data. That wouldn't be for everyone, that would be kind of more enterprise and super users. But then people paying for charts and things like that. So people who are interested in, for example, retail businesses who want to know what artists to maybe show on their homepage. That could be the difference. Just a few percentage in sales might be worth thousands and thousands of pounds by just promoting the right artist at the right time, gauging the temperature and knowing who to push. That's actually a very valuable piece of information. So,
but do you think the music industry, or are you confident that the music industry has the finance to subscribe to this service?
Yeah, I think so, because we've deliberately priced ourselves in a very disruptive way. So we're not kind of charging hundreds of thousands of pounds or anything like that. We're deliberately quite disruptive, and we're looking at our model aimed at the smaller bands as well. And just, you know, it's really important for us that is, you know, not much more than an iPod app price.
Oh, so everyone from EMI to like your average kind of garage rock
exactly,
band
yeah, exactly.
Can check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. And certain pieces of information will be more relevant than others. So if you're a band just starting out, the peer-to-peer file sharing data might not be as appropriate because you haven't put anything out there, or you're not being kind of torrented around the internet. But still, it would be interesting to know if you haven't had a review anywhere, because the state of the art in the industry at the moment is having Google alerts to say, you know, this is where you've been mentioned. But the thing is, if your band doesn't have a very unique name, so for example, like Oasis is the example kind of I've used a few times. You know, if you look at mentions of Oasis online, 40% of them just are nothing to do with the band whatsoever. So we have the ability to kind of read around the review, make sure this is definitely about the band. We look, you know, is this mentioning the Gallaghers? Is it mentioning any tracks? And so to know that this is your band being mentioned in a very kind of cost-effective way is really important. So yeah, I think it is really important, and I think the spend, and as I said, it's very disruptively priced. The spend really is great value for actually knowing, saving time, effort, and money. Just really knowing the metrics that the music industry has always lacked.
But do you think that keeping in touch with peer-to-peer file sharing services are kind of encouraging that to continue throughout the music industry where they're having such issues with it?
Not really. I think knowing what is going on with peer-to-peer file sharing is really important. Again, I think there's a bit of a haze around that at the moment. I think in terms of determining what level your track or your artist is being file shared, what, you know, is this cannibalizing business from elsewhere? With some larger companies, we're talking about, you know, looking at the difference between your iTunes, Spotify and peer-to-peer, and which one is affecting which. Are they cannibalizing each other? And the thing is, at the moment, that's a bit of a mystery. Lots of businesses have obviously data about where they're selling on iTunes and where they're getting played on Last.fm or Spotify and all those things, but having that other piece of the puzzle there to kind of really complete the picture is really important. So we're not making any judgment on peer-to-peer, but what we are saying is you can use that data in a way to your advantage, which I think is really important.
What's your position within MusicMetric?
I'm the CEO of MusicMetric. So I came on board November last year. The company had secured a round of funding fairly early on in 2009, of which I was part, and I've worked with the guys. There's a team of about 8 of us at the moment, and there's plans to kind of grow quite rapidly in the coming months. And I've worked with the guys full time since November. Yeah.
What would you say inspired the idea behind the company?
Well, the founders, Greg, Matt, and Maria Alicia, met at university, and they were. Greg is a mathematical physicist, and Matt is a cluster computing specialist. And the thing is, they've been learning all these things in university, and they were like, well, what's the practical application of this? Can I do something really fun with this? And so the idea just sparked there. Well, we'd like to do something in music, really passionate about music, something we know a lot about. Combined with this technology, what can we do? So I think that there sprung the idea. And so when I first kind of heard about some of the technology and the things that could be done, I was really excited, really wanted to get involved.
And what are the next steps for MusicMetric?
This year's going to be about growth for us, and really introducing more ways to kind of lend insight to this data. So slicing the data in particular ways. We're really interested in the differences that goes on in different geographies around the world. And so really what we're looking to do is really bridge this gap between the fantastic data we've got and insight, and what do I do next, and what do I do that I wouldn't have done normally without this data. And so we're going to be looking at kind of really refining our tool, really refining the data sets we've got to really let people kind of really take advantage of this data, find new ways to kind of make revenue, new reviewers, new ways to get their product in front of different people, new ways to grow audiences, and knowing what they've done in the past has either worked or not worked, and just planning that ahead. So really for us, it's all going to be about growth and refining the product.